Former AEW star Ethan Page makes a stunning WWE debut last night on NXT on the USA Network, attacking NXT champion Trick Williams. TNA Knockouts World Champion Jordynne will challenge Roxanne Perez at the upcoming NXT Battleground Premium Live event. Several stars are set to leave AEW, including Jake Hager when his contract expires at the end of this month, as well as Arn Anderson. The competitors for the Women's North American Championship ladder match at Battleground are set. Chris Jericho is set to debut a new talk show tonight on AEW Dynamite. Was Alexa Bliss spotted backstage during Monday Night Raw? She's remaining coy, but some fans insist that this was her. We have the ratings for Friday's edition of AEW Rampage as well as Friday's edition of SmackDown on Fox. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about Ethan Page making a stunning WWE surprise debut last night on NXT on the USA Network. Now, All Ego Ethan Page has gone from being All Elite to the newest member of the NXT roster. The former AEW star and former Impact Tag Team Champion made his surprise debut at the end of Tuesday's episode after NXT Champion Trick Williams and Javon Evans, with rapper Sexy Red at ringside, defeated Gallus. Following the match, Lash Legend headed to the ring to ask Williams if he was the one who had laid out Metafor's Oro Mensah and Noam Dar backstage, but before Williams could answer, the lights in the WWE Performance Center went out. When they came back up, Page got into the ring and took down Williams and Evans to the shock of the crowd. He got on the microphone and said he was the one who attacked Dar and Mensah. He said he was about to whoop that Trick to camera before further beating down Williams in the corner. Page held up the NXT Championship as the broadcast went off the air. Now, it was revealed at the beginning of May that Page's departure from AEW was imminent, to the point that it might have been just a formality. Fightful Select sources said that Page had been looking to leave Tony Khan's company since February. He reportedly first signed a 3-year deal with AEW back in March of 2021. Page had previously been in contact with WWE around the time he debuted for AEW, after close friend Cody Rhodes brought him to the company. Page said that at the time, the conversations with WWE were good, but he had his eyes set on AEW at the time. Now, we've got plenty more details about this coming courtesy of Fightful Select. Ethan Page, of course, is in NXT, and WWE sources have claimed to Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp and Corey Brennan that Ethan Page has indeed signed a contract with WWE. Now, Page was not seen backstage throughout the day and was not present for the rehearsals of NXT. Now, Fightful say while they're not sure if Page got his release or his AEW contract had expired, he told some in the industry that he was looking to be a free agent by the late spring. When word of his departure happened, Fightful say they had heard he was hoping that it would go under the radar until he appeared somewhere else, though Fightful say they aren't sure if he meant NXT specifically. Now, Fightful have been told that Page's deal was finalized over last week, and he had a secretive WWE Performance Center visit over the last 7 days as well. Of course, Page is the promoter for Alpha One, though it's unsure what the future holds for that promotion. Now, sources that Fightful spoke to were immediately pleased with his debut, and main roster sources reached out to communicate their excitement about him joining. So what do you make of the news that Ethan Page is now in WWE? He's on the NXT roster. Do you think he could make his way to the main roster? What are your thoughts on him feuding with Trick Williams? Let me know your thoughts, reaction to all of it in the comment section below. And what are your thoughts on yet another AEW talent coming over to NXT? Of course, it's Ethan Page, there's Shawn Spears, there's also Brian Pillman Jr., Lexis King involved in NXT. Let me know your reaction to it in the comment section below. Now, Jordynne Grace, a stunning surprise WWE return for Jordynne Grace, her second appearance for WWE this year. Now, last week, NXT General Manager Ava informed NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez that the identity of her next challenger would be revealed on last night's episode of NXT. Much to Perez's dismay, her upcoming challenger was confirmed to be current TNA Knockouts World Champion Jordynne Grace, who came face-to-face with the Prodigy in her surprise return to WWE. Quote, "Roxanne, you are a great champion, a two-time champion," Grace told Perez. "You have built your name here at NXT, the same as I have in TNA. But I'm curious, Who do you think has built the stronger foundation? I want to find out. So at Battleground, I'm going to be challenging you for the NXT Women's Championship, and I'm fully prepared to leave Las Vegas as a double champion. Now, as Grace alluded to, the next NXT Premium Live event, Battleground, will emanate from the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada on June 9. For Perez, this will mark her 4th televised title defense since regaining the NXT Women's Championship with a victory over Lyra Valkyria at NXT Stand and Deliver during WrestleMania weekend. For Grace, NXT Battleground will serve as the site of her 3rd ever match in WWE, with the first being the 2024 Women's Royal Rumble match. Before she steps up to Perez, Grace will take on Stevie Turner on next week's episode of NXT. Now, over in TNA Wrestling, Grace is in her 3rd reign and has resided as the Knockouts champion for over 4 months. The Juggernaut began her current reign at the 2024 TNA Hard to Kill pay-per-view event by defeating Trinity, who officially returned to WWE as Naomi later on that month at the aforementioned Royal Rumble, which of course Grace did compete in. Now, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think this is the beginning of more TNA crossover? Do you think we could see Roxanne Perez in TNA 2? What are your reactions to this? What are your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, we're seeing quite a few exits from AEW at the moment, as several contracts with the company are set to expire. Another name is reportedly gone from AEW after his contract recently expired. According to Bodyslam.net's Cassidy Haynes, Jake Hager did not re-sign with Tony Khan's company. Haynes reported that the decision was mutual between Hager and AEW, and the former Jack Swagger is now a free agent. The 42-year-old's last match with the company was on February 21 on an episode of AEW Rampage, where he was defeated by Roderick Strong. He was last featured on AEW Dynamite at the end of December in 2023, when he teamed with the Guns and Matt Menard in a losing effort against Billy Gunn, The Acclaimed, and Scott Taylor. He signed with AEW in 2019 and made his debut with the company on October 2nd as a member of Chris Jericho's Inner Circle on the debut edition of AEW Dynamite. He didn't make his in-ring debut until Revolution the following February. As Haynes reported, Hager hadn't been used much on AEW programming since the breakup of the Jericho Appreciation Society, where he was a member alongside Jericho, Daniel Garcia, Angelo Parker, Menard, Sammy Guevara, Tay Mello, and Anna Jay. Prior to his run in AEW, Hager was known as Swagger in the company's competition from 2006 to 2017. He debuted with WWE on the revamped ECW brand and won his first title from Matt Hardy in January 2009. The Real American was released from the company in March of 2017 after requesting to be let go. Of course, this follows the news that AEW's Mark Henry also recently revealing that his contract has expired and he has not re-signed as well. Henry explained on Busted Open Radio that the decision was again mutual and he would be taking more time to handle his brands. Henry works for AEW as an announcer, coach, and scout. Now, in addition to Jake Hager and Mark Henry, Arn Anderson is also set to depart All Elite Wrestling, with him making the announcement too. As I mentioned, earlier this week, the world's strongest man Mark Henry confirmed that after his contract with AEW expired on May 28, he'd be moving on from the company in order to better focus on some of his professional projects. On the latest episode of the Arn podcast, wrestling legend Arn Anderson announced that he too will be imminently leaving All Elite Wrestling as his respective contract expires on Friday, May 31st. The reasoning for Anderson's departure, however, is much more personal. Quote, "The limited time that I have left, I want to spend with Brock," that being his son, "because I think Brock has aptitude and attitude," Anderson said. "I think he will be a player for somebody, and I just got to get him some experience, and that's where I'm going to go with my time, helping develop Brock and teaching him. If he comes along like I think and hope it will be sooner than later. So I just want to say thank you to Tony Khan. This coming, believe it or not, on a double shot day, May 31st, is the last day of my contract. I just want to say thank you. I appreciate everything, and that goes to everybody that works there." During his 5-year tenure with AEW, Anderson notably served as a mentor, manager, and coach. Upon his arrival at AEW in 2019, the Enforcer was appointed as the on-screen personal advisor to the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, who resided as one of AEW's founding members. After Rhodes exited AEW in early 2022, Anderson shifted his attention to managing the likes of Wardlow, Lee Johnson, and his son Brock Anderson. Brock spent 2 years in AEW before leaving the company in October of 2023. So what are your thoughts on these exits from AEW? Are they expected, and do you think more are going to come in the future? Let me know your predictions for that too. Now, circling back to NXT, of course, we know Battleground is coming up, and the competitors for the NXT Women's North American Championship ladder match are now set. On June 9, WWE will crown the first ever NXT Women's North American Champion in a 6-pack ladder match at NXT Battleground. Competitors for this inaugural championship match were determined through a series of physical tests in a combine, followed by a half a dozen qualifying matches. The respective qualifiers officially wrapped up on Tuesday's episode of NXT, signaling the completion of the field for Battleground. The final pair of qualifying matches saw the OC's Michin take on Tatum Paxley, while Ren Sinclair faced off with Kalani Jordynne. The veteran Michin was the first to cement her position in the NXT Women's North American Championship ladder match by nailing Paxley with an eat defeat for the victory. Jordynne followed suit later in the show after delivering a split-legged moonsault to Sinclair. With their victories, Michin and Jordynne will now join the likes of Fallon Henley, Jada Parker, Lash Legends, and Sol Ruka in the aforementioned ladder match. Legends' entry into the contest is particularly notable as she defeated Raw star Ivy Nile in a battle of the powerhouses on the May 14 episode of NXT. The following week, Parker and Henley clinched their spots with victories over Brynlee Reese and Thea Hale respectively. Ruka advanced to Battleground by beating the former protege of Kiana James, Izzy Dame. Now, when it comes to the North American Championship for the women's division in NXT, you saw last night it was unveiled by rapper Sexy Red, and she may have a major role to play at Battleground at the UFC Apex. And rapper Sexy Red opened Tuesday's episode of NXT alongside general manager Ava and made a big announcement regarding NXT's next premium live event in Las Vegas. Red announced she'll be hosting NXT Battleground, which will be held for the first time at the Apex after UFC's merger with UFC to create TKO Group Holdings. She also unveiled the new Women's North American Championship bout, but was surprised from behind by Tatum Paxley, who attempted to grab the bout from the rapper. Paxley's opponent for the night, Michin, ran down the ramp to kick off their qualifier match for the two remaining spots. Of course, Michin won that match. Red has been a lifelong WWE fan and has made her love for the company's developmental brand known in recent weeks, posting about her love for not just NXT champion Trick Williams, but also the Metaphor. Last year, the NXT crowd began chanting lyrics from one of Sexy Red's songs at Williams, telling the now champion to shake his dreads, a lyric from Shake Your Dreads by the Billboard charting artist. In a now deleted post on her X account last week, Red said that she couldn't wait to go to NXT and that she might RKO somebody. Though she didn't get physical in the ring at the beginning of NXT, there is still time for Red to hit an RKO out of nowhere when she hosts Battleground on June 9. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Now, Chris Jericho, he's had the highlight reel in the past on WWE programming, and now he's got TV time on AEW Dynamite. Given that he was the company's first world champion and has had a Hall of Fame career spanning more than 30 years, it's not surprising that Chris Jericho will be getting some TV time on the upcoming May 29 edition of Dynamite. However, this TV time will be different than before, as the FTW champion will be using his TV time to debut a brand new segment called, you guessed it, TV Time. The segment has been made official via All Elite Wrestling's social media platforms, and while details on what exactly TV time will be have not been revealed at the time of recording, the segment will be the first of its kind that Jericho has had in his career since the days, as I mentioned, of the highlight reel in WWE. Jericho could use the segment to celebrate his big victory at AEW Double or Nothing on May 26, as he successfully defended his FTW championship in a three-way match against former champion Hook and former Ring of Honor Pure champion Katsuyori Shibata. The learning tree needed help from Big Bill to get the job done, as well as the bounty hunter Brian Keith, who revealed himself to be the latest AEW star wanting to learn from the FTW champion. Fans at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles, California, will not only see the debut of TV Time, but they will also see AEW take its first steps towards the annual Forbidden Door pay-per-view event on June 30. AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland will find out who he will face at Forbidden Door, as a casino gauntlet match will take place, where the winner will become the number one contender to Strickland's championship, who also retained his title in Las Vegas by defeating Christian Cage at Double or Nothing. Now, Alexa Bliss. Did we see Alexa Bliss in the background of Raw on Monday? WWE fan speculation is running wild amidst various QR code reveals and teases for the seemingly upcoming debut of the Uncle Howdy Bray Wyatt inspired faction, featuring, as I mentioned, Bo Dallas resuming his role as Uncle Howdy. And now fans believe they saw another potential member of the faction backstage during Raw. The episode featured a segment with Sheamus walking through the backstage area, and eagle-eyed fans on social media believe they spotted Alexa Bliss, who had been off the television for WWE for quite some time due to maternity leave. Now, fans took to X to post their new theories as well as screenshots of the segment. A blonde woman wearing a black top and black and white striped pants, almost, I guess, reminiscent of the Fiend's pinstripes, can be seen in the background of the shot when the Celtic Warrior walks past to make his way to the ring. Bliss herself responded to the social media sleuthing, posting a gif of Mariah Carey infamously saying, "I don't know her." Another fan replied to the former follower of the Fiend with a seemingly enhanced image of the woman backstage saying that it was her. Now, Bliss was last seen in WWE when she competed at the 2023 Royal Rumble in a losing effort for the Raw Women's Championship against Bianca Belair. She announced her pregnancy at the end of May that year, calling it a total surprise. She and husband, singer Ryan Cabrera, welcomed their daughter to the world in November. Bliss has been rumored to be a part of this faction following her work with Wyatt in the past, which she has said was the most fun she had in her career. Bliss and Wyatt were paired up in the company prior to Wyatt's release in July 2021. The duo most notably feuded with Randy Orton, which culminated in a match at WrestleMania 37. So what do you think? Is that Alexa Bliss, or is it just a case of mistaken identity? Let me know your thoughts about that too. Now let's talk about some ratings here, beginning with AEW Rampage. Of course, AEW Rampage was preempted this past Friday on TNT. It aired from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And because of the preemption, it didn't fare too well for the go-home show prior to AEW Double or Nothing. For Rampage, of course, Collision was the following night. Now, AEW Rampage drew 222,000 viewers on TNT, bringing in also a 0.08 rating. Now, in comparison to last week's number, which of course was preempted too, it is down 43% in terms of total viewership when it comes to the 18 to 49 demographic. Also, as I mentioned, last week's number was preempted, but it is down 38%. This preempted airing was the lowest total viewership for Rampage in the show's history. There are 2 episodes with a lower 18 to 49 rating though. Now, AEW Countdown to Double or Nothing immediately after Rampage averaged 218,000 viewers with a 0.06 in the 18 to 49 demographic. Now also, speaking of ratings, we have the ratings for Friday's edition of SmackDown, which of course was in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, ahead of the King and Queen of the Ring PLE. Of course, it was airing on a tape delay since it aired live in Saudi Arabia and then was broadcast later on from 8 to 10 p.m. on Fox. This past week's episode of SmackDown drew in 2.147 million viewers on Fox, also bringing in a 0.56 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic. Now, versus last week, it is down 2% in terms of total viewership and also down 5% in terms of the 18 to 49 demographic. This is the lowest total viewership since May 10, 2024, but also significantly the lowest 18 to 49 demographic since December 29, 2023. Yes, that is the lowest 18 to 49 number of the year thus far. In terms of competition, the Mavericks versus Timberwolves on TNT in prime time averaged 6.138 million viewers and a 1.99 in the 18 to 49 demographic. The Panthers versus Rangers, also in prime time opposing SmackDown, averaged 2.123 million viewers and a 0.66 18 to 49 rating on ESPN. But there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.